I tried building a productivity watch from scratch. This right here is a Submariner inspired watch that I built myself for about $150. And what surprised me the most is that some people actually use this as a productivity watch. Let me show you why. This right here is a classic diver style watch, and the bezel is unidirectional, which means that it only turns one way. So this is where that productivity part comes in. So let's say you want to focus on a task for 30 or 40 minutes. You'll just line up that bezel with the current minute hand. And you don't need a phone, you don't need notifications, no timers. You can just glance down and you'll know how long you've been working on a task for. This is great for people who want to spend less time relying on their devices and more time working on the task at hand. It's simple, distraction-free, and honestly, it's kind of brilliant. Plus, if you like fidgeting, this clicking bezel is extremely satisfying. So this is actually my second watch build. The first one, I ended up cracking the glass while wearing it, so I am waiting on another replacement part. But this one turned out to be surprisingly good. The lume is insane when the sun hits it just right. So once all the parts arrive, the build process is pretty straightforward. The first thing you'll want to do is attach the dial to the movement. So I had to use some clippers, some little trimmers to remove the feet. And you'll want to take your time here and make sure that you cut the right one and keep everything nice and clean. Now this next part is the hardest part of the entire build. The hands are actually really delicate and they bend easily. You'll want to set the movement to true midnight. You do this by slowly turning the time until the date rolls over, and then you'll install the hour hand, next the minute hand, and finally the second hand. And you'll just want to make sure that none of those hands are grazing or touching each other, and you'll want to test the movement after each step. Now, a pro tip here, you might want to buy extra hands if this is your first time. If I didn't have extra hands, I would have had to wait for my parts to arrive another 2 weeks or so. So I'm really glad I did. And also I would have had to pay for shipping again. So just buy that extra set of hands and you'll have peace of mind. The next thing I did was measure and cut the stem to the correct length. And then I test fit it just to make sure it worked. There's a small latch on the side of the movement. Check this out. See, as you press it down, you can insert or remove the stem. And so when you're testing this, you'll just want to make sure you can wind the watch, you can set the time, and make sure that everything feels nice and smooth when you're doing that. You'll want to make sure that once it's in the case, the hands move freely, the date changes at midnight, and the seconds hand isn't touching anything and is ticking properly. Once the hands are on and you can validate everything is working, you'll just want to blow out any dust. You'll install the gasket and lightly oil the gasket and seal the case back. And if all that checks out, you are good to go. The total cost including shipping was about $150, but if you want to factor in some tools and some additional parts, I would add an extra $40 to $50 just in case. So putting it up close to $200 for this watch build. But for an automatic watch that you built with your own hands, I think that's pretty solid. Now, a word of caution. Watch building is pretty addictive. This is like building a Lego set for adults. I picked up a small Harbor Freight toolbox just to organize the parts and the tools because I was just using a shoebox while I waited for parts. So this is actually really cool. And it's something that I do sometimes on Sunday nights. I just put on some music and I start building something with my hands. I think it's really relaxing. It's a way to work with your hands, and in the end, you'll get something that you can wear. All the parts and the tools that I used are linked in the description down below. And if you want to see a specific watch style built next, let me know in the comments. And if you've got questions about the process, drop them down below and I'll be happy to help you the best I can. I'm not a professional. I just literally started a few weeks ago, but it's been a lot of fun and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.